Greetings once again. I'm Alex Merle with WOPR. Here are the top 5 stories of the week, with more in-depth analysis to follow. The war is coming to Russia. Putin and Erdogan, a Sochi rendezvous. Military support. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. The apple of Armenia's eye. A tale of two leaders. Russian state media reports on a string of arson attacks targeting critical establishments, including buildings of the Ministries of Defense and Internal Affairs. The Russian narrative insinuates foreign influence, pointing fingers at Kyiv, and, in particular, its alleged recruitment drives on social media platforms. If you follow the war closely, fires at strategic Russian facilities won't come as a surprise. Almost each day comes with reports of a fire at a warehouse, railway relay box, manufacturing facility making weapons or military gear, and other infrastructure across the vast Russian Federation. To be sure, some of these are certain to have innocuous causes. Fires and accidents really do happen. Assuming some or many are real acts of sabotage, however, reporting them is a double-edged sword for Russia, because it's a tacit admission that saboteurs are routinely striking deep inside the Russian Federation. Last Monday, Presidents Putin and Erdogan met in the Russian resort town of Sochi, from which Putin launched Russia's invasion of Ukraine by seizing Crimea during the Sochi Winter Olympics in 2014. A key topic on the agenda was the Black Sea Grain Initiative, from which Russia unilaterally withdrew in July. Without a key breakthrough on this front, Russian state media focused on Ankara's altruism and African aid, highlighting that Turkish President Erdogan offered to assist Russia in processing grain shipments to an unnamed African country in need. Despite outward signals of warm relations between the countries and their leaders, and the first in-person meeting between the leaders in approximately a year, there was no substantive breakthrough on the Black Sea Grain Initiative or otherwise. Of note, when the news first broke of a potential meeting between the leaders last month, there was speculation the meeting would take place in Turkey. This would have been an important signal for Russia to send, because President Putin has been homebound to his ICC arrest warrant and has missed key events such as the BRICS summit in South Africa, the ASEAN summit in Jakarta, and the G20 summit in India. Despite outward signs of relatively warm relations between Turkey and Russia, the fact that the meeting took place in Russia underscores Putin's continued isolation. The US, Germany, and Belgium pledged new military support to Ukraine this week, which Russian media correctly reported as a clear signal that Western nations remain steadfast in their support. US support, in particular, includes new types of advanced equipment. In the case of depleted uranium shells, which the Kremlin falsely labels as dangerous to anything other than Russian tanks, the deliveries have been confirmed. In even bigger news, reports on Saturday indicate that the US is for the first time considering sending ATACMS missiles to Ukraine. If delivered, these missiles will put all of Crimea within Ukraine's firing range. Meanwhile, President Putin plans to meet Kim Jong-un later this month to secure military aid. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Armenia announced Wednesday that its forces will hold joint military exercises with the U.S. to prepare units for international peacekeeping operations. The U.S. confirmed that about 85 soldiers will participate in the exercises, along with about 175 soldiers from Armenia. A potential flare-up in hostilities with its neighbor Azerbaijan may scuttle the exercises, but the news is worth exploring nonetheless. While the scale of the proposed exercises is low, its timing and symbolism tell a very different story. Russia and Armenia are both members of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, CSTO, which consists of 6 post-Soviet states, including Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Tajikistan. Tensions between Armenia and its traditional ally Russia have been rising, in part because Russia is increasingly limited in its resources, all of which are committed to Ukraine. As its reliability as a partner, as well as its ability to coerce its partners through force, begin to be called into question, we should expect to see more independent thought and action from Russia's regional partners. In a brilliant stroke of leadership, President Zelensky nominated Rustem Umerov as Ukraine's new defense minister. Russia reports on this development, suggesting that there might be significant political shifts on the horizon in Ukraine. Here at WOPR, we'd like to highlight 3 strong signals this nomination sends. First, by all accounts, he is highly qualified for the job, with few criticisms to be heard. Second, the Ukrainian government, which Russia falsely accuses of Nazism, now has a Jewish president and a Muslim minister of defense. Third, Minister Umerov is of Crimean Tatar descent, which sends a strong signal that Crimea is Ukraine and that its indigenous people support its return. On the other end of the leadership spectrum, in a disappointing interview promoting his memoirs, former President of France Nicolas Sarkozy defended President Putin and called on Ukraine to remain neutral to appease Russia and to accept Russian occupation of Crimea and other territories. He further criticized Western military support of Ukraine. It is precisely this instinct toward appeasement of Russia that led the world to this place and point in the first place. We are grateful to President Sarkozy for reminding us that we're glad he is no longer in charge. At WOPR, we remain on the front line of Russian narratives, decoding them for you. Until our next briefing, stay sharp and stay informed.